I'm Helena, and I would like to talk to you about a life lesson, an amazing life lesson which took, which started somewhere around the age of 18 when I was living in the Czech Republic because I was born here. At the age of 18, I kind of started to open up, you can call it spiritually, or uh, I used to read a lot of books, and I started to work on myself at a very early age. I read books. I was very open from very young. And basically, at the age of 18, I already knew that there was something that we call God or the source or our soul. But at that time, it was, what year was it? 1989, I think 1989. Yeah. At that time, I didn't know this source or God as well as I do, but I had a very close relationship with him personally. Very close personal relationship. Nothing religious at all. No. I was just talking with something with him or her in my mind all the time, having conversations, and it was lovely. It was actually funny, but it did happen. And at that time, I made some kind of prayer. I said, God, please don't run away now because this is really not about religion. No, it's not. It's about your or my personal relationship to something greater than us or something that is in us, is experiencing itself through us. So I said, God, please help me to find the best way to be with you, to be at best service, to be the best human being I can be. I said it several times. And as they say, be careful what you wish for. It might happen, and it does happen always. So I just left it like that. A few times I was reminded, do you mean it? I said, yes, in my mind. Yes, I mean it. I really want to be the best person I can be for the source or for humanity or for whatever purpose I came here for. This is as simple as that. And so the time went on. And then the big thing happened. 1989, September 11th, 1989, the Velvet Revolution, the Berlin Wall came down, and I was 18. I was 18 at that time. I had no idea what would happen. But as the communist regime in Eastern Europe fell or was crumbling, many people started losing their jobs because they had been working in secure, often artificial or artificially created positions because the communism did not allow anyone to work, to not work. I mean, not to work. Everybody had to be employed. Yeah, everyone had to have an employment. And so people started losing work and the companies were restructuring. There's a little bit of light flickering now. Maybe it's better like that now. So the company started restructuring because the capitalism had open door now. So companies started to be when going from public to private, etc. So I was 18, then 19, then 20, and I was thinking, what do I do with my life? And we went to a friend's house for my 20th birthday, I think 20th or 21st. I think the 21st birthday. had a great birthday party, and they told me, one girl said, you know, here I have some pens. She had colored pens, like all the colors of the rainbow. And each one of you pick some color, and that color means your future. So I picked my color, my pen or pencil, and it was yellow. It was yellow. It's flickering again. There's not enough light here. I'm doing this in the darkness. I have only artificial lightning here. So yeah. So she said, yellow color, that means you're going to travel. You're going to travel. Yeah. You're not gonna be staying here. And she was perfectly right. It was that moment when a bit of like fun game turns into a real thing, um, connected with the desire to be at the best service, because to be at the best service, which I understood, or the best person I can be, which I understood later, was not to stay in the same conditions, but to go outside of those conditions and to externalize everything that I had learned there and start learning new habits that I can later bring to the Czech Republic or wherever. And it was just God's plan, the source's plan uh, to help people who were open to to do something to actually realize that. So I was open to it. So it was kind of even coincided with the funding game of the yellow pencil. Yes, I'm going to travel. That was the obvious choice. That was the obvious journey that I had to travel out. And it's true, I have always been saying to young people, the best way to learn to grow is always try new things, travel, go live in another country for as long as you can hold on. Yeah. As long as as long as you want. So it happened. Even I was working at an insurance company. I was 23. By the way, I didn't get to the university. I will publish the second part of this story because it might be a little bit too long. But the point is that I have my cat here. I might show you later. Uh, so, so yes, I didn't get to the university because in the Czech Republic, until 1989, there was a rule that any student, leaving the secondary school at the age of 18 at that time, now it's 19, had just one option, one university, one application to hand in to apply for a place at the university. We just had one option you just had to choose one place and to apply for one place at the university. There was no more choices. 1 year after my graduation, secondary school graduation year, 1 year after that, students were able to apply for as many universities or places as they just wished. Yeah. So you can call it like bad luck, or you can call it destiny. But of course, at the age of 18, I applied for a school, for a university place, but because there was a lot of competition, yeah, not enough universities for everyone or university places. We didn't have the private sector, the private universities yet. Now the story is the opposite. Now it's completely opposite. Now universities are fighting for students, yeah, inviting them, paying for them, yeah, now. So if I put myself from 1989 to this time to be 18 or 19 now, I would definitely um, secure a place at the university. Yeah. So, but the fate didn't want it that way. So I did not get to the university. I was somewhere beyond the dividing line, which says here we are taking these students, we're accepting them, they're going to be our students. And this slot behind this line, okay, sorry, bye-bye, find another place or go to work, which was my case. I had to go to work. So I did. But as I was working at an insurance company, that was my, I think, third job already. Yeah. I had worked at various other positions as well, at a business company, at a technical library, etc. And this was my third job. And that was the time sitting there 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, when the light inside me turned on, red light. When I was sitting there at a computer and inputting some data, I mean, I had a nice job, at an insurance company. I was 18, 19, oh, actually already, sorry, this was my third job. So I was 21, 22 years old, yeah, something like that. I had a nice job, couldn't complain. Uh, Office job, parties at an office, parties at offices were normal at that time, yeah. They were not as controlled as today. Today, if you want a party to celebrate somebody's birthday, the boss will give you maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes at the most, 20 minutes, and then you have to go back to work. But there, and then every 20 minutes, sorry, because I have a fly here. Somehow the fly, it's a very big, thick fly. Uh, so every Friday we had a small party, like it's Friday party or somebody's birthday or somebody brought some food. So we just talked, which was nice. I mean, spending time at work at that time wasn't that bad, but it was a big but. I couldn't bear it. I was like, as I said, 21 or 22, and I was thus staring at the computer, which was a new thing at that time, instead of using typewriter. We still used typewriters, yes, but we started slowly transitioning to the computers. And I mean, it was just too long, 8 hours a day, 8 hours a day. And I said, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I went across the corridor. There was a long corridor, several floors of the insurance company. And I went across the long corridor on our floor and I opened the door to another office. There were about 4 ladies in the accountant's office. And they looked like dried pumpkins or dried plums, let's say. Yeah, they looked wrinkly, old, like they had no smile, nothing. And I was thinking, how old might they be? And they were about, I don't know, maybe 40, 50, but they looked older. I don't know, that was my idea of looking at it at my young age. And one of the ladies, she just happened to say, it was just sent to me. Yeah, it was sent to me so that I hear it. She said, oh, I've been working here all my life, like since 18 or since secondary school. And I was like, is this going to be me if I stay here? And these were the things that I really have alive in my memory, that this is what um, caused me to realize that I definitely don't want to stay there. So I started planning my exit, but it was not really hard. Because firstly, I had made the promise to the source that I want to be at best service that I can. And secondly, naturally, our even the insurance company started to restructure, started sending people to different types of work, either or basically giving them redundancies, you know, the paper, dismissing them because of not enough, spaces. So let's say, but just the management got together and said, enough, yeah, enough. We need to get rid of some people. We have too many employees, because obviously the financing uh, started changing and everything. So I said, okay. So they offered me a place in a legal department where I could actually get promoted at the age of 21 or 22. I really don't know, because it just kind of really, I don't have it clear. Basically, somewhere there. I could be promoted from an ordinary administrative force to a legal assistant. I would be doing some certificates, you know, and uh, and then the path could go up and up. But this was in me always, even when I go back to the choice that I had made prior to this job. Uh, this was in me to always choose the option that's somehow aligned with, let's say, the greater good, not my personal choice, not my benefit, not my, not the greedy thing. I was always like led to something that I can, where I can grow as a person, not just. So basically, I felt, no, this is not my choice. I would be again like pushed even harder into this 9 to 5 job, and I would have to listen to someone and study something that I don't want. And I decided to quit. And everyone said, okay, so a lot of people are quitting, fine. And do you have any other option? Do you have any other job? And I said to them, I don't. And they were like, what? You don't have another job? A lot of people were actually saying that. You are crazy. You don't have another job and you're just quitting. And I said, yeah, fine. I'm quitting. That's fine. But of course, because this was year maybe 1994 already. And a couple of agencies sprang up and came into being. And they were au pair agencies for Britain, for the United Kingdom. And it was amazing. And I said, wow, I must do it. I felt that this was my path to go abroad. I had always wanted to go abroad, by the way. I tried to work in Austria as well, or Germany. I tried. I sent a few letters. At that time, it was letters, not emails, letters to hotels in the Alps, or in Germany. I just knew I had to, travel out of the country. But there were no replies. So I said, hey, United Kingdom, because I had started learning English. I started learning English when I was 18, because up to the age of 18, I had German at the secondary school. However, we didn't learn much. We didn't learn much. I tried to catch up. I tried to learn German as a self-study, self-student. Basically, I used to attend libraries, public libraries, sit there for hours and like this and study the German. I was there's so much, and I really learned it. Basically, in year 3 at a secondary school, we had quite lazy teacher. I don't want to blame it on her, but because we already had so many subjects which were so hard to learn, I was happy that I don't have to learn German on top of that. But then we lost one year, and then we basically didn't learn German as we should have. So I tried to catch up by myself. I mean, I could already sprechen, speak quite well, but there was something not right about it. I decided that I wanted to learn English. I should have chosen English at the secondary school. It was possible, but I chose German for some reason when I was 15 or 14. So my journey to learn English at the age of 18 started and continued while I was working. I used to attend various courses, evening courses of English, and I used to do a lot of self-studying. Again, attend the libraries, public libraries often, and study instead of German, study English. And I was not satisfied with my level of English. I was doing various examinations. One of them I didn't pass. Then I got really annoyed, and I said, "Oh no, there was like a state certificate." I said, "Let me just go to England. Yeah, let me learn English straight from the life there." But I mean, I could speak. I could converse basic English, and I could, yeah. So I contacted the opera agency, and within a couple of weeks, I had a family. That family lived in Ware, Ware, in Hertfordshire, near London. And we called each other with the family. We had a phone call via a normal landline. There were no mobile phones. And I told them when my ticket was to go to England, what date I was coming to England. And then the father of the children said, "Fine, I will collect you. I will pick you up." So I went to the UK. I remember it was an overnight bus and there was no Euro tunnel. So we um, boarded the ferry. Yeah, we boarded a ferry. We went by bus and boarded a ferry, and it was 3 hour drive or ride by ferry. It was lovely. It was night, and I remember the bus, the ferry was swinging nicely, and me in expectation what life would be from now on at the age of 22 or 23, actually, by now, almost. Because I celebrated my 23rd birthday in the UK already. And that was the start of the English journey to England, which was to last until 2010, when I finally returned, but not finally. I went back and forth. I worked there, but that was the start. And I only came for. I intended to come for like 3 months, maybe 6 months to try. And I stayed because I noticed one thing. Wow, I had my own room and I looked after the children. Yeah, of course. I had lovely room. I had peace, finally. Not that I didn't have peace at home, but that was my kind of relationship with my mom was not the easiest one. So in that sense, I felt very lonely in the UK. But that was a first place when I actually experienced real severe loneliness in the UK, which I later found out that it was normal for English people as well. I never knew loneliness before, but it didn't matter because I felt happy on another side. So I had my room, I had children who suddenly, they were all after me. They were teaching me English even without them knowing it. And I was trying to understand them and I was trying to catch up. I was trying to listen to the TV. And it took me 3 months to start to understand the children, what they are saying, because they were speaking so fast that I had to ask them to repeat it again, but they didn't mind. They didn't judge. children don't judge you. They just repeated it again. And I started to understand people. If you spoke to me slowly at the age of 23, I could have a wonderful conversation with you. But if you were speaking your normal English, then I wouldn't understand you that well. And then it took me 6 months to learn to understand TV fluently. And it was getting better and better. Later on, English became my second language. I understood every word. Even now, I watch videos mainly in English. You could see the fly here. It's not a fly, it's a meat fly, you know. I could I studied university as well, which I will talk about in the next part. And I found myself feeling comfortable reading English books, studying in English, listening to all English. I mean, I wish my English was a little bit better, but mind you, I haven't spoken, like, I haven't lived there for quite a while now. So I suppose when you reach a certain limit, Uh, so that was the journey to the UK. The beginnings were very strange because I found English people very reserved. This is all I will say at the before I finish my first part. It was maybe because I was different. I was very young. I didn't know how to speak with people. But the English people seemed very reserved and very one thing, we East Europeans, when we say hello, how are you? We're expecting someone to actually answer. Otherwise, we don't ask. Yeah. So we're kind of, yeah, you tell me how you are. And now they start talking, telling their stories, etc. But people learn that this is not really okay to go in too much far, too much to talk about their history, everything. But I came across so many people, they said to me, "Hi, Helena, how are you?" And I started like, I wanted to say how I was. And I thought that they were asking me how I am. And I started to say, oh, something. And I opened my mouth and they were already somewhere else. They were like, oh, okay, what is that? It means I learned that if you ask, how are you? You're not expecting an answer. You're just saying, how are you? Like, hello. Yeah, that's all. So this was small cultural clash. That's all. So I learned to say hello, but I was resistant to saying hello, how are you? Because I did not want to lie to myself or to lie to them. I didn't want to lie to anyone. I didn't want to lie. I didn't want to say, how are you, if I'm not expecting the answer. So I think until today, I'm not saying, how are you? And there were times when I sometimes did say, how are you? But I felt fake. So I don't say that. I say, hi, how are you? If I say, how are you, I really mean it. And you can start saying it. If you don't want to say it, don't say it. But I have to mean it. That's all. How are you? I'm so glad to see you. And so my first months and a couple of years actually in the UK was spent with two families, one in Hertfordshire in Ware and with three lovely children, although the children also different from our children, but that's another story. And then with another family, because after about 6 or 9 months, I can't remember how many, I wanted to relocate to London. I wanted to go to the city. I wanted to go to the big city, to be a big girl, to experience London, to live, to have more work. I had already seen enough. I had seen the opportunities, schools, courses, which were unthinkable or unknown under the communist regime. We had schools and courses, but not as plentiful like in a normal country, normal free country, yeah, like in the UK. So I saw opportunities for growth, for having more work, more money, for studying, and maybe even university. And yes, you guessed it right. From the day I came to the UK, no, maybe not the precise day, but very soon I realized that I wanted to actually, my dream was to go to the university to study. And it was going to be another 4 years before that dream became true. I entered the university at the age of 27. 27, when women usually settle down with a man, have family. Not me. I didn't settle down. I started my student life at the age of 27. And that will be the end of my first part. I hope you enjoyed it. And this is the series of my journey to the UK that led through hardship, but happiness in the end, or East European in the UK. All ended well for everyone. Have a lovely day and stay connected.